I just couldn't hold back any longer. I have to get on here and tell you about some miracles that God did, and even just talk about how we partner with him to do that with Holy Spirit. One miracle was I was walking through the foyer at church, and a friend of mine said she needed prayer for her heart. And so she was greeting, so there was a lot of pressure to get out of the way because she's in the doorway. And so, your mind and of course the enemy can come up with a lot of reasons why not to pray right then and there. But I felt the unction and I just prayed for her right then and there. And it was an intense prayer. So I knew that Holy Spirit was up to something. Then the very following Sunday, her husband came back and told me, he said she had a surgery on top of everything else, completely unrelated to that heart issue. And yet, since the moment when God spoke to me and what to pray, and God touched her, that she has not had one issue with her heart since that moment. And so I just want to encourage you in how faithful Holy Spirit is. If we'll make ourselves available, he's always wanting to manifest his kingdom through us. The second one is there was another miracle that God allowed me to be a part of what he wanted to do. I was in the back of service and I saw one of the pastors motioning, and I just assumed he was motioning to an usher. And so, I didn't pay any attention. I was off praying in tongues, and next thing I know, the usher comes to get me and says, "Pastor, I want you to come and pray for this couple." So I just gently went up to him and I said, "Hi, my name is Barbara. Pastor asked me to pray for you. I work here." And I put my hands on, I asked her what to pray, and she said her neck. And so I put my hand on her neck and I began to pray. And I felt like the Holy Spirit kind of took over the prayer, in that moment. At one point, there was a prophetic word that came out, and I saw a picture of demons actually whispering to her. Demons whispering in this ear and demons whispering in this ear, that they were trying to convince her that her sickness was her fault. I just began to pray according to that word that God revealed to me and speak truth and speak life to her. As I continued to pray, there was a moment in time I took my hand off of her back, but the Holy Spirit said, "You're not finished yet. Put your hand back on her." So I just kind of leaned forward and whispered, I said, "The Holy Spirit asked me to lay my hands back on your neck." As I'm laying my hands on her, the entire room, music swells, worship swells, and what happens is in me, I feel this, like all I can say is like a war cry come up, like this wail from deep within me that was so intense. And I heard in my spirit, "This is war, this is war, this is war, this is war, this is war." So I continued with my hand on her. After that, there was a time where everything just sort of subsided, and I felt within myself, you just have this peace, and I took my hand off and I went back to my seat. Later, she came to the back and she shared with me that she had had such a horrific migraine, they weren't even going to come that night to service. And she's been having such bad neck pains, she's been in and out of the hospital for it. She's been very, very ill. She said that in that time when I laid my hands on her, she felt this intense heat. Now I'm telling you guys, I didn't feel anything. I was just obeying what Holy Spirit said to do. So sometimes you gotta just obey whether you feel it or not, whether you understand it or not, just obey. She's telling me that she was completely healed. Now, listen to this. I didn't know, but I guess the next morning, her boyfriend had actually texted the pastor. So things were a lot worse than what she had been telling me. She hadn't been able to eat. She would wake up in the morning so sick, like she had a hangover, and she couldn't eat because it would just make her sick. She was so depressed and so down that she didn't even want to get out of her bed. And so things like that. So I'm not going to go into all the details in that, but she woke up that morning hungry and happy and healed. God did a miracle. He intervened in her life. Sometimes that's all God is asking, is for us to be available, to trust him, to do the crazy things that he asks us to do, and trust that he has a plan, he has a purpose. So I just want to leave you guys with that. So that's 2 miracles in a row. If you missed the first part, go watch the first miracle. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. Bye.